Your roads and trails look a little bit like this. Icy as heck. My name's Josh. Welcome to Juneau, Alaska. And I'm going to show you how to take your everyday pair of running shoes and then turn them into ice killers. Because it doesn't matter what time of year it is, no one wants to be running on the treadmill. So come on down to our shoe lab. Let's get to work. So what we're doing today is taking everyday street running shoes, favorite pair of course, and studding them like a car tires. Well, not quite, but studding them like a good pair of winter running shoes should be studded. Today we're going to use a product called iSpike. It is a threaded tire stud, and they are a fantastic solution to icy winter running conditions. Super easy to install. You can put them into pretty much any shoe except for those ultra minimalist shoes, because the depth of the threaded part of the stud is about 8 millimeters. So you need probably at least 12 millimeters of midsole to be able to do this and run in them comfortably. But as long as you got 12 millimeters of midsole, which is what you need anyway if you're going to do something like screw shoes to get you out there on those icy trails, you can use grip studs and have much better results, in my opinion. So, like I said, you just take your favorite pair of running shoes. We're using some New Balance RC 1400s. So these are pretty lightweight and have pretty thin midsoles, and they handle the grip studs just fine. Grip Studs is not the only manufacturer of these threaded studs. I'll include a couple links in the video to a couple different brands, but they'll price out to about the same amount, about 50 cents per stud. So pretty inexpensive, and you can turn any running shoe basically into a studded running shoe to go handle those icy trails. And they just screw right into the outsole. Super easy. And like that, we've installed a stud. You're going to want to install studs all around the perimeter of the outsole, including the heel. Don't forget the heel. When it's slippery out, even if you don't think you are a heel striker, at some point you're going to slide around a little bit and lean back on your heels, and you're definitely going to want there to be some studs there to bite into the ice. Otherwise, you'll be on your butt before you know what happened. So, but yeah, what you do is you just follow the outside perimeter of the shoe. Let's get a few more of these studs. I wear a size 13. It typically takes between 15 and 17 studs per shoe. I like to give myself about 1.5 inches of spacing between studs. As you can see, these shoes have already had some installed in them in the past, but it really is not much more difficult than what it appears here to get these to install in a spot that hasn't had a stud in it before. if you buy these online, there's a special tool. Unfortunately, I lost mine, which is why I'm using Vice Grips to install these. But Vice Grips work just fine. That makes it even easier to install this. Boom. And, you know, 50 cents a stud. You can say between 30 and 34 studs for a pair of shoes. That's what, between 15 and $15 and $17 or so to stud a pair of running shoes. It's not a bad price when you go look at what Solomon or Soloming or iSpike is put out there with one of their studded shoes, running between, you know, $160, $170 a pair. And these studs will last for the life of the shoe and beyond. So, you know, once you've wore out your running shoes, you just pull these out, swap them into your next pair. They got tungsten carbide tips, so they really don't wear on the pavement. And that, as I was saying, I like to go around the perimeter, get the heel, and then I like to put a couple under the midfoot, especially if you have, like I said, at least 12 millimeters of midsole material, because you're really not going to feel them even right under midfoot. And it improves the amount of traction that is made available to your foot by having them right under the midfoot. So I had been experimenting this winter with trying to get, like, this different styles right here, so don't let me confuse you. These are studs for like mountain bike tires, and I've been experimenting trying to install them into the outsoles because they're only about 7 cents a piece, but I have not had any success thus far. So at this point, these threaded studs are just the way to go. So, and they even work in the exotic shoes with the exotic midsole foams. I got a pair of Reebok Float Ride Run Fasts with the grip studs installed in them. I haven't lost any yet. Probably put about 60 or 70 miles on them since I installed the studs. So more in total on the shoe, but since I put studs in it, I have about 60 or 70 miles in it. So, and they've held into that soft midsole and outsole just fine. I was a little worried. I thought I might strip a few out, but nope. Big improvement. This is a super fun shoe. If you haven't checked out the Float Ride, the Reebok running shoes with the Float Ride foam, definitely worth your time. They're super fun and super fast to run, and just had a really terrible outsole for cold, icy conditions. So installing studs in them was an obvious choice, and one I certainly don't regret. Yeah. So I'm just going to do a quick demo on installing a stud into a spot that hasn't had one before, because it is just a tiny bit more difficult, but I mean, really not that much more difficult. Screws right on it. And these studs have a little collar on them at the base of the stud, the part that protrudes out of the outsole. And you want to tighten these down enough so that that's sort of pressing in to the outsole. So it creates sort of this oppositional force. You have the threads pulling the stud down into the shoe, and then this collar resting on top of the outsole, kind of locking it into place. So once you've added as many studs into the outsole as you feel are needed, and you can always add more because it's super easy. Just threaded studs, screw them right on in. You're basically ready to go. Take them out on the roads and trails. I always recommend to people that you should start with something fairly benign, so that you're not out there on some super technical mountain trail where the stakes are a little high if you slip and fall. There's a little bit of a learning curve with any kind of modification to a shoe to figure out what the traction characteristics are, so that you can trust it when you need it and not end up hurting yourself. Check them out. Grip studs. I forget what the other brands are, but I'll provide some links to them. And happy trails.